Hi there folks, this is Adam with 8 Badge Gaming coming to you today with the third gameplay video in our Yveltal Break series. So far we've paired up against Zoroark Leafeon and Zoroark Golisopod with a win against Leafeon and a loss against the pod after they were able to use Resource Management Oranguru to take out our Hoopas. So it was hard fought on their side, but they were able to take it. Now we're going into our third game. So now we're up against a fighting water deck. This is likely Broken Buzz, so this is going to be Buzzwole Artillery. Though it kind of surprising not to see a Lele in here at all, but it could be the one with just all baby buzzes and auxiliaries. Now our opponent does get to choose the coin flip here. And we lost the coin flip as we are apt to do. Our opponent gets the first turn. Now, we're not terribly miffed about that, and mainly because we have the ability on our turn to use, say, an Ultra Ball to discard an energy to go for a, say, Yveltal Break, or Oblivion Wing Yveltal, which uses just one energy to be able to put a discarded energy on. But in this case, we will need a draw supporter. What I'd love to see them do here is throw down a strong energy that we can just enhanced hammer away. Mainly get a use out of the hammer itself. They're not going to have anything besides strong and potentially beast energy to actually use the enhanced hammer on, so I'll be happy to just knock something off when we get the chance. Now we do have a float stone in hand, and they did go ahead and put down the enhanced energy. So this is going to get hammered right off. We get a Sycamore. They discarded a couple of energy. So that puts them at a lower energy count in the deck. They're going to Ultra Ball, pitching a Guzman and Ultra Ball. Let's see what they go for here. A Remoraid, likely to get the Octillery going. They need to get the Remoraid into play first. I'm surprised they actually didn't just use the Brooklet Hill for that, where they did have the Sycamore to be able to discard hand, but that's all we can do. So we ended up drawing a Sycamore ourselves. So we're going to enhanced hammer off the energy here. We're going to put down a Hoopa and a Mewtwo. We're going to put a float stone on the Hoopa here, and we're going to use Brooklet Hill. Now there's nothing that we can get, but it lets us look at our deck before we end up going deeper by trying to do a search or anything of the sort. So it looks here like we're not doing much of anything besides just using the Sycamore. There's nothing really that we want to go for over the Sycamore itself, and we don't want to invest a Lele into the bench. So let's go ahead, we'll shuffle it up here, and we'll actually Sycamore discarding the ball and the energy. That does put an energy in the discard, so if we get a regular Yveltal, which we did, plus an energy. So let's put an energy here. We're going to Max Elixir, and we'll put it on the Yveltal as well. We have draw supporters in hand to use next turn. Let's retreat the Coco into the Yveltal. And we're going to go for an Oblivion Wing. And we're going to put a energy from our discard onto our Hoopa, because that's going to be our tech against, say, the Lycanroc GX, if he does get it down. Now, next turn, what we're hoping to do is Cynthia into an energy after evolving into an Yveltal Break, and essentially taking it from there. If they do put down, say, another strong energy, I'll happily hammer that off then as well. It's going to be a bit hard for them to get the Rockruff out of the active now, where they didn't discard the energy. So if they do try to attach an energy this turn, then that means that they're going to be trying to put the Buzzwole up into the active. Now, unfortunately, we don't do enough damage with one hit to take out the Buzzwole, but depending on our energy setup, if we manage to get, say, a DCE, we might look into going with a Mewtwo KO. So let's see what our opponent goes for here now. They're only going to be hitting 430 with a Sledgehammer attack, even if they were able to get a Float Stone here, for example. We do see them going for an Ultra Ball. They ended up having it to go for another Octillery, but they did discard a Sycamore to do so. So they did discard some temporary card advantage for more long-term card advantage here. We do have them attaching a strong to our Buzzwole here, and I'll happily hammer that off there again. He did hit the float stone, so he is going to be getting a hit in for 50 if he goes for it here. And N is actually going to put us up a couple cards. I'm a little sad about that because we're losing the enhanced hammer, but depending on what we get, we might be essentially just right where we need to be. So we ended up getting Max Elixir, Guzma. And we have the ability now to actually do a Parallel City. They missed on their Max Elixir as well. Ooh, that's a bit brutal on their part. So let's see. We could, if max elixirs both hit, we could go on to the Coco here. We get a sledgehammer here for 50. Normally that would be for 70 based on their Diancie on the bench, but we're going to Parallel City here. We're going to knock them down to not being able to lay another Pokemon for this game other than evolving on the Rockruff. So the question now is if we want to use the max elixirs to go in on the Mewtwo or the Coco. So what I think we want to do is let's go max elixir. We miss. And now max elixir will hit nothing again. Ooh, so I don't think we care about the choice band right now. We don't want to give our opponent cards, so we're not going to end. We're actually just going to Guzma here. We'd like to keep them as stuck in hand as possible, and an enhanced hammer here is fantastic. So now what we can actually do is do Ultra Ball, discarding Ultra Ball and Energy. We can go for our Yveltal Break. Actually, do we go for the Oranguru? I think we'll actually go for the Oranguru, because that's going to give us some better long-term card advantage. So let's do Oranguru. We're going to put an energy down here, because they're not going to be able to one-shot pretty much no matter what. And we're going to Instruct. And we hit the Yveltal Break, which is fantastic for us, as well as a Lele to actually use next turn. So let's go ahead and let's figure out what we want to do. Our opponent doesn't have any damage on any of their Pokemon. We do have an energy in our discard that we can put onto something. So let's actually go Oblivion Wing. And we're going to put an energy on to the, I'm thinking Coco here. So let's see here now. On our turn, he can potentially attach a regular energy if he has one. I assume he would. He did attach an energy next turn, and he did draw up to 6 cards in hand. He does have a draw supporter. If it's an N, however, he puts us up cards, which we're totally fine with. Now, for the Baleful Knight, unfortunately, this only does extra damage to the benched Pokemon, so it won't be a straight KO on the Buzzwole, but now on our turn, we can Baleful Knight for a KO. Now, they have no energy on their Rockruff. They missed on both max elixirs on their turn to potentially try to get a Pokemon, or rather an energy onto the Rockruff to be able to do, say, Dangerous Rogue or something of the sort. But they are completely out of luck, and Ultra Ball, they did a fail to find because they did have a Lycanroc in hand. Let's see what they force up. It's likely going to be, say, the Oranguru here if I were to imagine anything. No, he's going for the Mewtwo. I guess he's worried about the Mewtwo KO. Now, what's going to be great is on our turn, us being able to Guzma up that Octillery there and take a KO. Because if we can get him card stuck and limit him to only having one other Pokemon on his bench, then we're pretty well off. We're seeing a Super Rod here now, shuffling some of these energies back in. He hasn't been hitting on his max elixirs, so I'm not surprised there. He likely does have 1 or 2 prized there now as well. And we're going now for likely a punch onto our Mewtwo. And he is going energy off of max elixir this time, not realizing, I guess, that it has to go onto the Diancie as an only legal target other than the Octillery. But we're totally okay with that. And we drew a Cynthia off the top for next turn, so let's actually go and Guzma up here. And now we'll actually happily do a Baleful Knight, because that will put some extra damage on both the Lycanroc and the Buzzwole, with both of those being on the bench here now, making it for a bit of an easier KO on our turn. So we did get some setup here. Wonderful thing here now as well is we do have an energy, which means that we can suit up either the Coco or get 1 pip closer to the Hoopa. So they were able to Parallel City us here now, and they're going for another Remoraid. Now I'm potentially thinking on our turn what we actually want to do is go for the Lele for the Guzma. We're only taking 30 back here now because he only has 1 energy there. Or we could just top deck the Guzma. So what I think we want to do here now is we'll actually put an energy down onto our Coco. We're going to Guzma up the Diancie, having the hardest retreat cost there, and making them get rid of the most energy. We're then going to go ahead and Oranguru, just to draw one card with the Instruct ability. We ended up getting another Hoopa. Now, I don't think we put it down just yet. We're going to keep our bench slot available for the Lele, but we're going to go ahead and Flying Flip here. It forces our opponent now to have another energy, and now Baleful Knight is hitting for another chunk of damage. If we can, I'd like to get in another Flying Flip, which is possible if he does have some way to get the Diancie out of the active, and he had the natural artillery in hand. So I think what we want to do next turn is go for a Guzma again, and likely take out the second artillery. We'll hopefully put him behind significantly that way, but that will open us up to being one-shot by the Buzzwole, which is what we have to be careful of. Now, potentially what we could do is bring up the Buzzwole and KO that instead. He does need to hit an energy right now to get his Diancie out of the active, or a Float Stone. Now, he is taking quite some time on his turn now to figure out what to do next. If I were him, obviously it would be the Abyssal Hand. Oh, he's trying to go deeper to hopefully hit a Float Stone. Let's hope he doesn't hit it, because if we can keep this Diancie inactive for another turn, then that means that a Baleful Knight will actually be able to KO the Buzzwole before it ever actually gets up into the active again. Mainly because we'll bring it up to 100, bring the Rockruff up to 40, and then Baleful Knight will kill both the Buzzwole and the Rockruff. So what I think we want to do here now is let's just straight Cynthia ourselves. We'll put ourselves up. We don't care so much about the Lele because we're depending on our opponent to not hit right now. We did get an energy here, but I will hold it in hand at least temporarily. Though, I think what we want to do is actually, we'll put down the Yveltal, we'll put down an energy on the Hoopa, we'll throw down a Choice Band on the Yveltal and a Choice Band on the Coco, and then we can Instruct for 1, getting a card deeper into our deck. We do have an end now next turn to potentially put our opponent down a bit, and we're going to Flying Flip here now, mainly because we have softened up his bench now considerably. What we can look to do now on our turn is if he does manage to get the Diancie out of the active. He didn't hit the Float Stone last turn. He had already attached an energy. So if he doesn't have an energy now, which is hard to believe, seeing we only have 3 energy in play, and we have 2 strong in the discard. So that's 5 of the potentially 11 energies. And we're seeing him go for the Mewtwo. He's scared of the Mewtwo here. So let's go ahead then and see what we draw. So we hit an energy here. So what I think we actually do is we put it on the Hoopa, and then we're going to use a Sycamore. This is going to put us down to 13 cards in deck, and we hit a Guzma for next turn, and we have the ability to Super Rod. And I think we'll wait for this Mewtwo to be KO'd before we Super Rod there. And what we want to actually do is take a 4-prize turn on our opponent's turn, if it goes the way we want to. So, best case scenario, he goes for a KO on the Mewtwo now. What we do is we put up anything besides Yveltal Break. Then what we do is we Guzma up the Lycanroc GX on his bench, and we hit for a Baleful Knight. So that'll be 150 damage to the Lycanroc. Ooh, we're getting an N on us here, so we have to try and get a Guzma out of the 5. Now, this is 20 cards, we're hitting 5, so we're getting a 1 in 4 chance to hitting the Guzma again, but unfortunately we didn't. But we did hit a DCE, which is something here as well. So what I think we can do is we can actually potentially put up the Yveltal and go for another round of damage. Now, we can also put up the Tapu Koko and go for another round of damage here, while we hope to get hits with, say, our Max Elixir and our Yveltal. We hit a Cynthia off the top, so what I think we do is we Max Elixir and hit nothing. We could put down the Yveltal, but I think we'll keep the slot open for now. We'll throw down a DCE on the let's see, Orangaroo would hit for 80. Will Oblivion Wing for 90. So if he puts down another energy to go for a swing around, we can get around it. So let's make him scared with the Latios, because we can actually use Latios to KO this Buzzwole now. We're going to Cynthia our way back up in some cards. And what we want to do is we've got the Guzma now for next turn, so let's retreat into the Latios. We'll use the Latios to take a KO, and we're going to put the damage on the Octillery. Because now we'll take out the Octillery in addition to the Rockruff and the Lycanroc in the next turn. So they are suited up now to be able to take a one-shot back on the Latios. So we're going to get them to force up the Buzzwole here, essentially. And then next turn, we can take 4 straight prizes if they don't evolve the Rockruff. So that's what we're hoping for here. If they don't evolve the Rockruff, we're going to be able to take 4 straight prizes. If they do evolve the Rockruff, they force up our Yveltal, then we're a little grimmer. We're in a little bit more of a shitey situation. But it means that we're kind of risking it here now. So they haven't discarded another Lycanroc so far. They have 9 cards left in deck, and they've got 7 cards in hand. Potentially the ability to use the Octillery then again as well. And we have an Yveltal Break in hand. Now, let's consider what they could do. They went for another Baby Buzz. I don't think they may realize exactly how this is suited here now. So let's have a quick check on their Guzma count as well. So they've used 3 Guzmas. They have the potential of having 1 more. They've got Baby Buzzwole, Super Rod shuffling back in here. And what are we shuffling in? Let's see what he does toss in here now. Making some decisions. He's got a good bit in the bin there. It could be energies. He's got 1 energy. So energy, Buzzwole, Remoraid, which is considerable there. We've got a Floatstone going down on the Octillery. He's probably trying to go another couple cards deeper. He's used the Sycamore. Okay, he cannot Guzma. If he has a Counter Catcher helps get him out of this. He's down to 2 cards left, or 3 cards, sorry, left in deck after that Sycamore there. We get another Beast Ring here. He hits no energy. Another Beast Ring. He's getting his hand down because he's trying to get deeper so he can use the Octillery's Abyssal Hand here. Can he get more cards out of his hand? That's going to be the question. He puts up the Baby Buzzwole, and he takes the KO, 170 damage. Alright, so let's make sure we play this properly. We're going to put up the Tapu Koko promo. We're going to confirm 100% that our Baleful Knight will KO all his Pokemon, which will deal 30 to all of the bench that already have damage. Alright, so we're just going to Guzma, up our Lycanroc, put up our Yveltal Break, and we're going to take a 4-prize turn with Baleful Knight. So we get a full from 4 to 0 KO prizes. That is impressive. And our opponent stuck at exactly 4 prizes as well. So we were able to get a victory against the classic Buzzrock there. That was very impressive. So I'm actually really pleased with how the deck petered out that time. We tried to get our opponent disrupted a bit. Having the Enhanced Hammer for the strong energy to prevent the retreat early helped a lot. He didn't get the cards that he needed to be able to essentially win the game from there, though I don't know if they run the 4th Guzma there even, so overall, being able to beat Buzzrock with this deck is pretty significant. Now, the resistance to fighting definitely helped us there with our Yveltals, playing off against the fighting itself, and it just showed exactly how strong the deck can be, especially once you spread a bit of energy around. Hitting for 120 on an active and putting 30 on every damaged Pokemon on your opponent's bench as well is disgustingly strong. I definitely did enjoy that game, even after our loss to the Resource Management Zoroark last round, but I hope our 4th gameplay video actually has the same quality of gameplay as that. We As always, do appreciate your viewership here at 8 Badge Gaming. We are always looking forward to interacting with you, our viewer base, in any way. Obviously, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to our Facebook page, to our YouTube channel, etc. We're always happy to hear from you. With that said, this is Adam at 8 Badge Gaming, signing off.